Hello, my name is Josh and welcome back to FPL Graduates. In today's video, we're going to go through the best Matchday 4 draft. Obviously, everyone has unlimited transfers and has an extra €5 million in budget. We can pick more players from our favourite teams too, so there's so much changing in this Euro fantasy concept. Let's take a look at what I think will be the best team to choose for Matchday 4. Okay then, to kick things off, the points below me aren't our actual live points. I think me and Ben are on the same points at the moment at 172. So around 250k in the world. It's been a bit of a struggle for both of us. We both haven't had captaincy hauls in Matchday 1 and Matchday 3, so we're finding it hard to nail that captaincy option at the minute, but I think as the tournament progresses, we're definitely going to find a way. Let's get cracking into the bench though and the goalkeepers. So starting off in goal, Unai Simon from Spain. Obviously has a little bit of a wrist injury, so could be potentially a risk if you're thinking about this long term. If you haven't got any chips left, like myself and Ben, we both used our limitless and wildcard in the group stage, so just bear that in mind. If you've got a chip spare, I think you can attack both sides of the draw a little bit better, if that makes sense. So yeah, Unai Simon, Georgia. They played well against Portugal, but Spain defensively have been fantastic. They've kept 3 clean sheets out of 3 games. I just think they look really, really solid. And for me, he's a really easy option to pick in goal. On the bench, we've got Costa as well. Again, both these sides have really high clean sheet potential odds. Over 40% likely to keep a clean sheet this match day. Against Slovenia as well, we saw them against England. There was almost no attacking threat. I know they only wanted the draw in that game, but a draw is just not going to cut it against Portugal in a knockout phase of the tournament. So yeah, Douglas Costa. So yeah, Diogo Costa, a good option as well in goal. Some easy picks there. Moving on to the rest of the defence, I'll touch on the Portugal players first. We've got Cancelo as well. Again, the defensive side of the fixture is really good. I thought he's looked relatively attacking in the game so far. You could go for a cheaper option here. You could go for Nuno Mendes. I don't know about Dalot. There's been a bit of rotation. Martinez keeps going from a 3 at the back to a 2 at the back. So it's a little bit tricky with who he's going to pick. So Cancelo for me, I think he's the most nailed out of the lot. I don't think we'll see too much rotation when it comes to him. So he's in there. Then we've got Ronaldo as well. Obviously 10 million euros. You know what you're getting. I think he's been unlucky not to get any goals so far. Obviously picked up that assist for Bruno Fernandes in the second game of the match day. I think he's a good option. Is he the best option? I'm not so sure. I think if there's someone that I'm willing to lose, it'll be between him and Harry Kane in that forward slot. If you fancied maybe an Alvaro Morata or a Cody Gakpo or someone like that, I think that Ronaldo, you could make a good argument to lose him. The same thing with Harry Kane as well. So those forward spots will be interesting to see with who everyone picks, because I think that's going to be the most sort of differential way to sort of gain some points at the moment. And then we've got Marcel Sabitzer as well, the only player in this team who's playing on the final day of the match day. I think it's absolutely imperative that you have someone who plays on every single day. So you have a captaincy option on every single day. For me, Marcel Sabitzer warrants probably one of the best captaincy options on the 2nd of July. He's facing Turkey, who have been okay, but for me, Austria have looked so good. Them and Spain have been the teams that have impressed me the most so far in this tournament. Obviously, Sabitzer has picked up returns in 2 out of the 3 group stage games so far. He's got a goal, he's earned a penalty, and he's also got a player of the match award so far. So really good from him. I think he's looked really dangerous. He is on penalties when Arnautovic isn't on the pitch, which I know Arnautovic has started the last 2 games, but if he always gets subbed off a little bit early, so depending on when they get that penalty, there's a potential chance that Sabitzer will take it as well. And yeah, like I said, he'll be my captain on that final day of the match day if all my captaincy options before then fail me. So moving on into the defence, we're going to look at Marc Cucurella first. If you haven't seen it already, make sure you check out our top transfer targets video, because that man, honestly, some of his stats has been incredible. He's got like 16 ball recoveries in 2 games, 2 clean sheets to match it as well. So he's a man who's going to get over 8 points pretty much every single game. As I mentioned with Unai Simon, Georgia, a decent fixture. I think a clean sheetable fixture for Spain as well. It is knockout football, so there could be upsets, don't get me wrong, but I think Spain will have a good chance to push through towards the end of the tournament, which is what you need, really, because if you're in a situation like me where you don't have a wild card or a limitless chip left, you're going to need a team that sort of will progress through to the knockouts as much as they can. So if we're looking at it from like the England side of the draw, we really need to be targeting teams that we think will push through towards that sort of semi-finals route, because you only are going to have so many free transfers in that sort of stage. So yeah, I thought I'd bring this up on the knockout stage so we can sort of see the routes to the final, because it is really important to sort of have a good judgment as to who will get close towards the final, because if you're in a situation like I am with no limitless and wildcard left, you need to almost predict what teams will make it through, so then the majority of the team will sort of get through towards the final, and then you can use the free transfers to maybe get rid of any upsets, for example. So yeah, having a look at the right hand side, Netherlands versus Romania, I'd expect both Austria and the Netherlands to safely get through that to the quarterfinals. I'd even bet on Austria beating the Netherlands again, which I think is highly likely given that performance. Obviously, they've already played against each other in the group stage. So yeah, for me, I think it's a good chance that Austria make it to the semi-final. So in my current draft, I do have 2 Austria players. You could even have more than that, depending on what your risk would be like. But same with the Netherlands, like you can still have 1 or 2 of those guys, even if you think they're only going to get to the quarterfinals, because you're going to have free transfers by the quarterfinals and then into the semi-finals as well. Same with England. I know England haven't played too well at this tournament, but there is a good chance that they're going to make it through. Obviously, that Switzerland-Italy game in the quarterfinals after Slovakia, if they make it, is going to be tough. Switzerland have, nearly beaten Germany so far in this tournament. Italy as well is not a team that England want to play. They're going to sit back and be defensive and hit on the break, which is exactly the team that England want to be avoiding at the moment. So obviously it's by all means no definite that England will make it, but if you had to sort of have a guess, I think England would be definitely the favourite from that right hand side. If we take a look at the left hand side, Spain, obviously they're probably going to face Germany. I'm going off of like generic most likely odds here. So Spain most likely will face Germany in the quarterfinals. I think that game could go either way. So do you really want a lot of Spain and German assets? It's going to be hard to tell. Again, with Portugal and France, you'd expect both of those to progress at the moment as well. Do you really want a lot of Portugal and France assets? That's again quite a 50-50 game in my opinion at the moment, especially given the fact of how those 2 teams are playing. So yeah, for me personally, from my point of view, I'm sort of preferring the right-hand side of the draw and targeting teams from that right-hand side, just because it becomes a 50-50 when you get into that sort of quarter-final stage with the likes of Spain versus Germany potentially, and then potentially France versus Portugal as well. After that little interruption showing the knockout stage, we go on to the England defence, and as I talked about, they are obviously incredibly likely to go through deep into this competition, whether that be the quarters, the semis, or indeed the final. England definitely have got a good route there. Whether they make it or not is another thing. I'm currently doubled up on their defence though, with Kyle Walker and Mark Gahey. Mark Gahey has the most ball recoveries out of any England defender so far, and a fixture like Slovakia definitely promotes more of that. England will just be, parked in their half. That's when he tends to get ball recoveries, just from generally clearing it, stopping counter-attacks, things like that. So yeah, he's a fantastic option and will definitely be in my team come the deadline. Kyle Walker is currently 3rd for ball recoveries in the England team. 2nd is Kieran Trippier, who's obviously €6 million, which is quite expensive. And there's also that risk there that maybe Luke Shaw comes back. Probably a slight risk, but for me, yeah, Kyle Walker is a good option. €5.5 million. I thought he's actually had some decent attacking threat on that right-hand side as well, getting into some dangerous positions. Obviously, I don't think he actually got the assist, but created the chance for Harry Kane's goal against Denmark as well, so it does carry a little bit of attacking threat. And then finally, to round off the defence, is Mittelstadt, €4 million. He did get subbed off early against Switzerland, which I was quite shocked about for Raum, who obviously got that assist for Füllkrug's header. So is his minutes a risk? I don't think so. I think there was just genuine rotation there when they sort of knew that they were going to finish qualified, so they didn't really need to push on. But yeah, Denmark, definitely not the easiest of games. Definitely not a 100% chance of clean sheet. So I think there is genuinely a consideration that you could go without a German defender. But for me, Mittelstadt offers great value at €4 million. There's not a lot of defenders that you can get for that cheap at this stage of the competition. You're looking at maybe Wout Faes. at a push, and do you want him facing that France attack? For me, I personally don't. So yeah, at the minute I think Mittelstadt will stay there. I'll sort of back him to get that clean sheet against Denmark, and then let's see what happens when Germany potentially face Spain in the quarterfinals. Okay then, so moving on into the midfield, we've got Bruno Fernandes up first, and for me, he's the best Portugal asset that you can choose. A really good fixture against Slovenia for Portugal, which I think they will definitely perform better than England will do anyway against that team. I know they're defensively really sound in that 4-4-2 rigid structure, but for me, Portugal have by far more players to unlock the door. The likes of Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, Rafael Leao, Cristiano Ronaldo. The list is just literally endless in that Portuguese team. So for me, yeah, I think that's a really nice pick. A potential captaincy option, probably my preferred captaincy option on that day as well, just because there's a good chance that Bruno can pick up things like clean sheet points, ball recoveries, and I think there'll be a lot on those. Well, a clean sheet points on its own, but a lot of ball recoveries on offer for that game. Nico Williams is up next. He's my favourite Spanish midfielder choice. Georgia fixture is absolutely incredible, and I thought that Nico Williams has super impressed me so far in this tournament. Hadn't really seen him before this tournament, and he's just sort of set the world alight at the moment. Really impressive performances in match day 1 and 2, and then again, player of the match performance in match day 2, which is fantastic. So yeah, for me, really nice option from Spain. I then do have that double up of German midfielders here at the moment. Jamal Musiala, captain, and then Ilkay Gundogan. I think having a German attacker is a must. Do you need to? I don't think you do. I think you could definitely spread it. Maybe go for double Spain attack. It's totally up to you. But for me, in this best draft at the moment, I've gone with both German midfielders because I feel like both of these guys have probably the most goal threat out of all of the midfielders that you can choose from in terms of Florian Wirtz, maybe a Pedri, maybe Lamine Yamal's a forward anyway. So the options aren't necessarily crazy. Again, you could maybe have an England midfielder, but if you're asking me, do I want a German or Spanish midfielder or an England midfielder, I'm probably going to always pick the German or Spanish midfielder at the moment, just because England just don't have it together going forward at the moment. So yeah, Gundogan and Musiala, I don't really need to talk too much about them. I know they blanked in match day 3, but for me, they've been really good and almost the stars of that German attack at the moment. Okay, then to round off the team, if it weren't a spoiler already, we've got Kane and Mbappe. So we've gone with that triple forward line of Ronaldo, Kane and Mbappe. Kane facing Slovakia. Again, I just think he's just very dangerous. You know, he's involved a lot in the play, scores against Denmark. He could have easily got a return against Slovenia if he was just a little bit more sharp. I definitely feel like he's suffering from that injury that he had at the back end of the season. Definitely not up to scratch necessarily. But yeah, I think if you've got Kane in a decent fixture like Slovakia is, you're going to probably pick him. Kylian Mbappe against Belgium, I just think this is a really nice fixture. When you look at Belgium's defence, it just doesn't scream a lot of pace. They've got Timothy Castagne, Wout Faes, Jan Vertonghen, and then is it Arthur Thiat? That's what they played against in their last fixture against Romania. So I think Dembele and Mbappe, these type of players are going to have a field day against this Belgium defence. Belgium defensively haven't been too great this tournament either. Conceded a lot of chances in their games. So yeah, for me, Mbappe is a must. You could even make a great argument for bringing in maybe another French forward like Ousmane Dembele, maybe Antoine Griezmann. Obviously, it depends who will be selected. So yeah, a really nice team. Let me know what you think. Is this the best team for match day 4? Are there players here that you'd take out and maybe replace with other option that you're considering? Let me know in the comments. Okay then, so that wraps up our match day 4 best draft at the moment. Obviously, there will be our team reveals come the deadline, or before the deadline, should I say. So make sure you stay tuned and subscribed for those videos. We really appreciate your support on all this Euro Fantasy content. So we're bringing a lot more to you. Till next time, I've been Josh. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good match day, everyone.
So you may rise, but you'll never make me wanna stick around you.